Hello and welcome to another season of Female Founders Speaker Series. We are at Hotel Vermont are so excited to partner with VCET for season 10. We have been doing this for 10 years. Little round of applause for that. And we're so excited to host another season. Clearly outside there's a bit of inclement weather that no one expected. So we just wanted to let you know there's some quite steeply discounted room rates if anyone's feeling a little uncomfortable driving home tonight. So just see the front desk. And yes. So I'd like to hand it over to Dave, who can talk a little bit more about the program. And enjoy.
Thanks, Mary. Hey, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the 34th Female Founders event.
Wow.
Yeah, we have to update the website. The party a month or so ago was number 33. Tonight we've got speakers 88 and 89 with us, which is really stunningly awesome. And I just wanted to say that, express some thanks that we set out to do this with Hotel Vermont, with the Media Factory, because we wanted to get your words, your stories, into forums and into distribution channels, not only in Vermont through public access, but at times up to 7 states. So your products, your stories, your inspiration really carries well beyond our 802 area code, which is really, really cool. Just want to thank my VCET team, Jeff and Emma, Javin's in the back taking photos, and of course my partner and co-host for the Start Here podcast, Nicole. We really started this also to give a voice to folks, again, who gritted it out, have stories of inspiration, persistence, grit, humor, and I cannot wait. I'm a little bit terrified to see what Jenny's going to share about secrets I've shared through the years in her establishment. So
This is true.
it might be true, but Nicole, you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody, and there'll be folks coming in,
Yes.
so let them get to the empty seats as they find parking.
Yes.
Let's kick it off. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you all so much for coming. Can you hear me okay? Yep. Yeah. Great. So unfortunately, Lara cannot make it tonight, but I'm really excited to have Jenna and Jenny. I feel like this is going to be an iconic panel, so I'm very excited about that. Before starting, really just to give you all context on what this trending panel means. For me, I love fashion, I love hair, I love trends. I mean, I'm Gen Z. I'm 24, so I love everything trendy, and I grew up with social media and trends, but this is not about that. This panel is really about how each of us, whether you're a scientist, whether you're an investor, whether you do own a retail shop, or whether you work for a corporate company and just want to know how do I make my own brand or bring this level of trendiness to that corporation. And so really just think about what does trend mean to you? And I can't speak for myself, but I know that these two ladies don't only rely on social media. Jenny doesn't even have social media. So it's going to be really cool to hear their perspective on trends. And it's a lot bigger than just fashion. So let's get started. Do y'all just want to introduce yourself so that I don't have to?
Sure. My name is Jenny Carlson, and I own Code Style Club, which is a hair salon right downtown Burlington. I've been a stylist for 20 years, but I've owned Code for the last 5, going to be 5.5 soon. And yeah, I really just wanted my own salon because I mainly wanted to have a really positive environment that people could come and get their hair cut, and most importantly, the stylist that worked for me had an environment that would really allow for their own personal growth. And I think we've done a pretty good job. I'm pretty fortunate.
Yeah, if you like my haircut. Thank you.
I did
We know where to
comment on
get
that
it.
when
You
I walked
did.
in.
I know. You were like, that's the first thing you said. I was like, thank you.
So bouncy.
Just like her.
Yeah, right.
So bouncy.
Yeah. I'm Jenna, and I live in Stowe, where it's not snowing right now, so I'm going to go home to a bunch of angry people. I own Salt and Grove Wellness, which is a fitness studio. Well, it started as a fitness studio. We do Pilates, bar, and yoga. which I created because I selfishly just really wanted to do bar. And always told my husband I would either learn how to do hair or teach bar.
Yeah, there we go.
So luckily for this panel, I chose
was
bar.
just gonna say.
So we started last year. We just hit our 1-year birthday on November 4th.
Wow.
I didn't realize it was-
And this was right after I had wound down my previous company, a tech company, and swore that I would never start a business ever again. But about 6 months after we opened the studio, we had a little retail store above the studio. It was an exit through the gift shop model, so we had all the athleisure and wellness stuff that you would come out of class all high on life and find a cute outfit. But about 6 months after we opened, I acquired Mirror Mirror Stowe and opened a day spa. So now we have a 7,000 square foot spa location on the mountain road. We do facials, acupuncture, massage, craniosacral therapy, and Reiki. And we also 1 month ago moved our studio into the spa. So I don't have a lot of downtime. But I'm basically made up of green juice and bone broth, so I'm very healthy.
Okay, now I have to ask. I feel like green juice and bone broth are very trendy right now. So what made you hop on that trend? Or have you always been a bone broth girl?
Green juice and bone broth are trendy.
I feel like they are. Like, I have not seen people start to, like, drink bone broth until it was, like, on TikTok last year. Seriously.
Well, there's
I
a
mean,
couple things there. I mean,
Yeah.
one question that I'm guessing that you're going to ask is about how trends work.
Yeah, let's jump into it.
So, because this will serve right into that, which a lot of times the trends that we experience in the U.S., and I'm qualified to answer this question, just for the record. I've been working in the trend business. I started my career at Vogue and Teen Vogue, and at a media company working with Hollywood celebrities to broadcast trends. But the way that it kind of tends to work in most cases is that the trends come in internationally. In fashion and beauty, or fashion, they typically come from Europe. Beauty, most recently, they come from Asia, sometimes also from Europe. And then those trends are kind of dispersed by innovators throughout the sides of the country. So East Coast and West Coast, as you can imagine, fashion usually comes from the New York side. Tech is going to come from the California side. Beauty kind of comes from all over, but mostly from the New York side. And then it kind of disperses throughout the country, right? So you see like the heights of these trends take place on either side of the country. And then they kind of disperse as they meet kind of in the middle. Some of them, as you can imagine, never make it to the middle, right?
yeah.
So, you know, when you, I'll never forget, in 2005, when I saw Hillary Duff wearing skinny jeans, so I wore skinny jeans. And then 3 years later, everyone wore skinny jeans. Don't wear skinny jeans now.
Yeah.
Unless they're in a riding boot. I learned on a podcast yesterday. But like tucked in.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it happens, right?
Yeah.
So you bring up green juice and bone broth. Bone broth is probably the healthiest thing that's ever happened, like for thousands of years, is that people take the bones of animals and they cook them down for hours and hours and take all of the nutrients out of those bones. And then, you know, sometimes a chef or someone who's creative in the kitchen will also add vegetables and carrots and things like that. It's existed forever, but that's, as a trend, somebody created a company in New York City. It was it Brodo? I think it was Brodo, and it was this little pop-up in the East Village, and it was this tiny little thing, and you'd go up and you'd order a bone broth like you would a coffee, and it was actually funny at first, right? It was like, I'm going to go get a bone broth, gross, right? And then people are like, wow, I feel really good drinking this bone broth. So then another Brodo, and then another person opened a different type under a different brand, right? And then that kind of started to disperse. So a lot of the trends come from something that's existed for a long time. That's where a lot of ideas in general come from. But typically for a trend, it takes place in an area where people are early adopters, it's called in technology, but you know, in different facets of business, it's called different things. I don't have the answer about green juice, but it's probably something similar. I mean, look at, like, if you were in Malibu 15, 20 years ago, I'm sure they were serving celery juice, you know? And if you were, or, you know, somewhere in New York City too, and then that kind of filters through the country, and some places just think it's gross forever, and some places like Stowe, Vermont can't get enough of it.
Wow, thank you. So Jenny, the first time we sat down, the first thing you said to me was, I don't have social media. I don't know if I'm fit for this panel.
I said it was kind of ironic.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably one of the least trend following people per se when it comes to social media because I don't have it. So the irony is rich, but
It
I
is.
talk for a living, so
Exactly,
I hear what the trends are.
And I feel exactly, and so that's what I want to touch on. Like, you are somebody who maybe yourself, you're not on social media, you're not like following trends, but you talk to people all the time, you see trends, and especially with hair, they're always changing.
They are.
So what is it like running a business where you have so many, I mean, and goes for both of you guys, but you have so many different trends, but you also want to keep your brand what you want your brand to be?
Yeah. So kind of to add onto Jenna's point, even in hair, we are at a time when it is very trendy, and I think we can definitely correlate that back to social media directly, because 15 years ago, the 14 to 17-year-old young men that were coming into the salon really couldn't tell you what they wanted to do with their hair. Now they come in and they have very specific names. I'm sure you might know, like the broccoli, the llama, the jellyfish. I mean, it's things that you're like, what? Can we see a picture? And they show us a picture, and we're like, okay, it's just, so all the haircuts are really just a slight variation of 4 basic that like kind of go back to like Vidal Sassoon and like whenever he developed the hair cutting structures. But social media has allowed for this, which I think is great, honestly, because I might not like the mullet or the jellyfish, but if it allows somebody to really dive into who they are and they really can own that individuality for themselves, and that's what they come to the salon they want, I'm happy that we can provide that and give that to them. Because most people can't rock that. But for some people, I do find these trends, it's really allowing them to really find themselves. And I think for that, it's a good thing. But we don't too often get people that come in that want something really ludicrous, unless it's something very clearly styled, and then the first question is, do you wear product? And they say no. And you say, well, this will not be achieved, because that is not how their hair looks ever, except for that photo shoot.
Yeah.
So most people are pretty reasonable about it. But we do get, it's the young men, it's been impressive. They know what they want with their hair, they're very specific. They will take anywhere between 2 and 4 different styling products to finish it. If we could use a blow dryer, that would be great. And at first it was kind of like, what is this? But, now I'm kind of like, cool, they care. They care a lot, but they care at least. They're trying.
Yeah.
They're finding something that works for them.
Yeah.
So for that, I do like it.
Is the bowl cut still in?
The bowl cut has not come back yet, thank God, because that's actually a very difficult haircut to achieve very properly.
Yeah.
But I hope you didn't just jinx us, babe, because next week we could start getting some requests for that.
I know.
But yeah,
so
no. But we all grew up with that,
Oh, yeah.
and I haven't seen
Oh,
it come
yeah.
back, thank God.
What about you?
I have a bit of a complicated relationship with trends, just because of how my career started. My great-grandmother was an entrepreneur. She started our family business in the fashion
cool.
industry in 1947.
It's impressive.
I wasn't allowed to call her grandma because her name was Rosie.
Yes.
And she was just like a real badass, and I feel like it's just like in my blood. And after I worked for the family, she handed it down to my grandfather, who gave it to my uncle, who wanted to hand it down to me, and I went to work there after I came out of school, mostly because of the recession and because I couldn't find another job, but also because I wanted to. And I worked there for a few years and determined it wasn't really the right place for me, but my job there was to supply New York fashion designers with all of the trims that they would need for their runway shows and for production. And so I got a really, really like inside, not sexy, not at all glamorous look at the garment district. I mean, I looked cute, but I was like wheeling a suitcase down the garment district with like binders of ribbon swatches in it. And so I got to see the unglamorous part of fashion. And then after I left the family business, I went to work for Teen Vogue, and I was your age at the time. And back in the old days, that was like the coolest job that you could have in your early 20s. This is like the heyday of Teen Vogue, like The Hills and the Teen Vogue It Girls, and that was extremely glamorous and also really bad for the mental health of a 20-something-year-old. We weren't allowed to eat. I mean, you were allowed, but it was frowned upon. We ate crudité for lunch. And it was just a really shitty situation, honestly. And I saw how the editorials were coming together, and I just felt so icky. And I started working on the beauty team there with an editor named Eva Chen, who's now like Miss Instagram. She runs content at Instagram, and I'm so fortunate I got to work with her. And she was a pre-med and pre-law and became a beauty editor at Teen Vogue and had like a totally different stance than everyone else in the industry ever did. So working on beauty with her was really amazing. And I always kind of learned from her and decided myself that communicating beauty standards to young women, the median age at Teen Vogue was actually 22, but communicating beauty standards to young women was like the biggest responsibility I would ever have. That was really major. And that was a time when, you know, Vogue supermodel covers and everybody was kind of starting to talk about, this doesn't seem super healthy. And I was like, it's not. And so anyway, I kind of made this decision as like a 25-year-old that I was going to approach it differently. And I learned as much as I possibly could about skincare and about beauty and about hair and all of the facets of these industries, and made a very unpopular decision there, which I ended up earning respect for, but I almost got fired 3 times by Anna Wintour. That was one of the reasons why. Was that I decided it wasn't about how you looked, it was about how you felt. And which is the ethos of Salt and Grove. If you look on our sign on Mountain Road, it says self-care oasis. It is not, this facial will make you look 20 years younger. It is, this facial will make you feel like a breath of fresh air, just like calmer today. And at Teen Vogue, it was really about like, you know, how do you get ready for prom? Well, curl your hair like this and buy this eyeshadow. We decided it wasn't about that. It was about taking care of your skin, drinking a lot of water, getting a lot of sleep, you know, exercising, joining the school soccer team, doing the things that are going to make you feel really good. And again, it was pretty unpopular because the advertisers who sold makeup and hair products and all that just weren't huge fans of the pitches I sent them. But that was, you know, I made that decision really early, and I've been able to stand true with it. And even still today, I have all the high school kids come in and take classes with us and everything, and, you know, in their matching Pilates sets and everything. And we make it very, very clear to them what our space is about. It is not about losing weight. It's not about wearing sports bras and leggings. It's not about, you know, getting rid of all of your acne. It's about just learning how to take care of yourself at a young age. And, you know, we joke about bone broth. That's one of the, like, core tenets of our business is we're like, eat healthy food. This is filled with nutrients, and it'll make you feel really good when you're not feeling great. Just stay super hydrated. And, you know, sometimes they come in for a facial and want this whole fan. We're like, you're 16. We don't use any of those products on your skin. I'm sorry. So as far as trends go, I think, you know, trends can be really cool. We can learn a lot from trends, but ultimately what trends are smart people learning about things and coming up with creative ideas that they want to share with the world and with people. And so, you know, my business is in a very small community. I think there's like 2,200 people. I don't know, Dave, how many people do we have in Stowe? Like 2,000 people. And so I'm very in tune with the needs of my specific community and then the transient community that visits us. And we build what we think is the responsible and also, you know, the right solution for the problem, you know, that we're building for. But as far as trends go, you just, you know, you have to follow your gut. You have to follow your instinct, and you have to, you know, be a good human no matter, even if somebody's telling you that black jeans are cooler than green jeans, right? It's not about what someone else says. It's about how you feel and how you're interpreting that trend.
Wow. Yeah, so good.
Agree more.
So good.
Agree more.
So, Jenny, you've been in the hair industry for over 20 years. How do you filter through the noise of all of these different, not only hairstyles, but just like trend of working in a hair salon? Like, how has that changed, and how do you now obviously owning your own place, kind of filter all of the noise that's around that?
Yeah, I mean, hair salons are a very conversational place, for sure. And I think we are incredibly fortunate to have an amazing clientele, that I don't find myself having to really have to push against or try to guide clients in ways that really we can't have a conversation and come to within each other. But to build upon what you were saying, honey, I couldn't agree more. And like the whole base of my business is I wanted to create a space that mainly my employees, but also the clients could come and truly feel comfortable and want to have, like, be the best version of themselves. And I really wanted to create an environment that felt very open and welcoming, and it allowed people to come in to be like, if this works for you, this is great. And I think the more as humans we look in, and the more we really are honest with ourselves and about what works for us, and then if we really were to put that self-love and care in, I firmly do believe the world would be a better place. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but it's just honest. And I think the trends, it can be a lot, and it is a lot of noise. And I think for some, they can find something that might be really lasting, but for others, I think it's a lot of people trying to figure out something that might work, or something where they're not feeling comfortable in their own skin immediately, so they're looking for something else. And I do wish, and I really do, and I think, and I'm hopeful that we're getting to a place, and I think that comes also with these trends, that we are finding our individuality, and we're coming to an environment where we are allowing people and accepting of people for who they are and own it. And like we're all beautiful. Everybody has something to offer. It's just the sooner we can tap into that and learn what we have inside of us and really work with that and grow with that, I think it can really be a beautiful thing. I don't think I actually answered your question. But
No. No, you did.
I don't think I answered your question well.
No, you did.
Because like I really, and there was a few other ones too where I'm like, and I feel incredibly fortunate, and I say that and see some of them in the crowd today. I mean, the salon has an unbelievable clientele. But I know that starts with my stylists that also provide the services and bring these people in. So there's all moving parts to it and a lot of conversation. But
Yeah, I mean, how do you choose your stylist? And you might not want to
how do I choose them?
go to, I mean, you obviously, they need to be good at
Yeah.
conversation, but also like that, those are the people who curate your vibe
Yeah.
in your salon. And so what is that
I mean,
like?
I've had the most growth since I opened just this year, and it was 5 years in June. And honestly, I just went with it. I didn't choose at all. I had somebody kind of, a sister-in-law had moved from Idaho, so her brother-in-law was a client of the salon. He said, hey, she's looking for a place. She sounded great. She's been a seamless fit. And then I think as she was walking out of the interview, I had a new barber that was about to graduate in a few months, and they were very interested in working at Code. And I was like, well, at least come in, because I'm not going to say no to good, cool people. And they worked out as well. But then also in the meantime of this, I had a receptionist that started working with us in October of last year, who actually decided to go to barbering school from working with us at Code. So she just finished, and she started just 2 weeks ago. So it's been a busy summer, but I can't say I have any sort of process in how I
Yeah.
choose my people. They seem to come to me, and I say yes, because you are lovely and hardworking.
I love
and we will
it.
go with
That's
this.
great.
Maybe
Yes.
you manifest it. Maybe
Well-
you have, and also culture filters down, right? So you
Yes.
attract people that reflect probably your.
I would be lying if I
Totally.
didn't say I do manifest it, honey. But I don't feel like I have had moments where I've needed staff, and people are like, you should put out an ad. I'm like, they will
They
come.
don't work.
Wherever they are, they will come eventually, when they're supposed to, when the right person, and they have. So
Yeah.
It's true. We had a girl come into the shop. She's emailed me a few times, but she came in 2 weeks ago. She seems awesome. She's like, I'm a yoga teacher. I've also taught yoga lattes. I've managed a wellness kitchen and studios and spas before. And I was like, you sound great, but I've got like 20 people right now, and I just can't even imagine. And then go to a meeting with one of my best yoga teachers the next day, and she's like, I'm moving to New York City. Picked up the phone. I was like, hey, remember when you stopped by?
hello.
But it's
Yes,
just kind
everything
of crazy
happens
how
for
things
reasons.
happen. Yeah, you
Yes.
just never know who's going to walk through the door. So
You
that's the
never
other
know.
thing. It's always a warm smile and a reflection of the vibe that you create in your space, and then
Yeah.
you'll attract the right people who belong there.
Yeah.
Totally.
No, I firmly believe in that as well.
Also, sorry, just side note, when I was little and AOL came out, This is
I'm
history
aware.
for you.
Yeah.
This is before you were born. My first screen name was
Was?
Hair Girl 17.
Oh my God.
I love that.
That's great.
And it makes me think of you.
Mine's a bit more embarrassing, but mine was Roxy 18129 because I was obsessed with Roxy.
Roxy,
clothing.
yeah, I
course.
feel like that was a popular screen name direction
course.
at the time. Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Who's Roxy?" I'm like, "I don't know."
You're like,
My favorite
I
board
am.
shorts.
It's like your Sasha Fierce.
Yeah.
Roxy.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyway,
I love
sorry.
this. Jenny and
Squirrel
Jenna,
brain.
guys.
Yeah.
What about a podcast?
I don't think
I
this
don't know.
is
I'm
gonna
not
be the last time that we're gonna see
Yeah.
each other. I have a feeling.
So we have a lot of founders in the room, and I think especially what we see talking to founders all the time is a lot of people, when they have these early stage startups, they want to try to like attach to trends and think that by attaching to a trend, you are going to have more traction and really like scale your business. So this is a question for both of you guys, but has there ever been a time when you felt the pressure to change your business based off of just a lot of, I'm going to use noise, but also trends? And how have you worked through that if you faced it, of maybe feeling pressure to like not add a class or to,
It's like literally the story of my life.
yeah, like how do you deal with that? Because I think a huge struggle is like, okay, when is there a time to change and not change my brand? Or should I just kind of like stick to what I'm comfortable with?
Well, first I'll say, do your homework. I've gone through like multiple accelerator programs. I did Techstars, I did a Capital Fellowship, and learn the process, because there is an actual scientific process to starting a business, especially a startup, which is, I think the definition of a startup is 1 year or 1 to 2 years in business or whatever certain revenue targets. Because the first thing is, don't do it unless you really, really want to. But do it. It's great. So that's one. But two is there is an actual scientific process to it. So trends are great. And one thing about trends that's fun is like do something that you like to do. Because I did Pilates this morning and then like could go and get a facial. Like do something that you genuinely enjoy doing, because you're going to be doing it all day, every day, all the time, and even when you're sleeping. But the second thing really is that process is fairly simple. You identify a problem, you create a solution for it, you make sure there's an opportunity for that solution to work, which is usually what kind of market are you in? Do you have some sort of opportunity for it to grow? Do you hold that lightning in a bottle? I was just telling you about. And then you work towards getting product market fit. Product market fit is essentially when you take 100 random customers and you ask them from 1 to 10, how would you feel if this just disappeared tomorrow? I can tell you with honesty, which I'm very proud of because my other businesses did not all have this, that if Salt and Grove did not exist tomorrow, there would be riots in the streets of all like the cute moms and stuff. I can tell you with absolute, I feel confident about that. But so making sure that you have product market fit, once you have that, once you have the solution, then you're micro adjusting. So changing a class. I literally had a member, they have my phone number now, you guys. A member texted me today. She's like, so last week there was a bar class at 7:15 and this week is at 8:30. Can we move it to 8:30? I'm like, yeah, sure. But really there's all these like hundreds of micro adjustments that you make that product market fit grow, and then building out models of how you grow it, right? But without that starting of what's the problem, what's the solution, is there an opportunity in whatever this market is for that solution? And then did you actually work to achieve product market fit, which is really hard, especially in technology. It's a little bit different when you're in a smaller community that we are in. But with that, then the trend will come to you because you're using data to measure is it a trend. And you can use your intuition to understand if this is the right solution to the problem. But ultimately, like we survey our customers like all the time. I mean, their voices are very loudly heard. When we moved the studio recently, I think we had 130 people fill out a survey telling us in great detail exactly what they wanted to happen, which made it so that when we opened it, we literally did exactly what they wanted, and attendance was up 40% in the first week.
Wow.
Right? So there is a scientific way to do it, and obviously there's a million little nuances, but those micro adjustments are what are most important. So it's not really about the trend. I mean, the big
Yeah.
idea could be inspired by a trend, but ultimately a good idea is timeless
Yeah,
in the right market.
I love that.
So I think I need to take a business class from Jenna, is what I got out of this, and I mean that, because you are beyond impressive, and mine is so different. I
could use a haircut, so this could work out great.
This could work out great. I need business classes. I mean, truth, and I was just like, am I going to say this? You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to be honest.
Say it.
I opened my business, and I don't even have a business plan. I did it 5 years ago. I opened June 1st, 2020, in the pandemic. I was an established stylist. I had a few amazing established stylists on my side, and we just hit the ground running. And we had to micro-adjust in the moments, but you know, my business is it's hair, and we don't do nails, we don't do waxing, we do hair, and mostly men's, women's colors. We don't do perms. So there's not too much room for like the extras or the questions. I do have 2 new barbers now, so I do believe we're going to start doing face shaves, but that's probably the most change and growth we'll have. And I can't say I feel pressure from that. If anything, it's social media. It's the one question I get all the time. Why aren't you on social media? You
Why
should really
aren't
be
you
on
on
social
social
media.
media?
I can't believe you're not on social media. You're not on social media? No, I'm not on
Sorry, that's how I
social
started this
media.
panel. She's not on social media.
But really, why? Can you tell us why?
Yeah, no, so I was very late to the game anyways, many, many years ago, just personally. All my friends had it, and I just really didn't want it. And I finally did it, and I got Instagram, and I was like, this is cool. And I think I posted 2 pictures maybe, but I found myself sucking my time, scrolling, and I wasn't active on it, but I was watching other people's activities. And then I was also really in tune to the fact that I would get off of it, realize I wasted a lot more time than I had any idea, and it didn't make me feel good. I wouldn't leave there being like, cool, I'm feeling really positive. It made me feel like, what am I missing? And like, is that really going on? And do these people really live these lives? Which I'm smart enough to know that they don't, but it does, it was just something I grew to really be in tune to, that I'm like, I'm doing this, I'm not using it as the manner I should, and it doesn't make me feel good. And so I got off of it. And I really haven't thought twice about it, except for the fact that it is, I'm the rarity, and I get that. And then I started this business, and it is, you know, it's customers. People want to see the work. They want to see what you're doing. I have quite a few of my stylists are very firm that we need social media. We need social media. And to be honest with you, I've been incredibly blessed. And up until these last literal 2 weeks, my business actually kind of had a weird slow turn. But for me to even say that, my stylists still were busy. It's just, we haven't needed it. And I feel very fortunate for that. I'm aware of that. If things start to change drastically, then I might have to dive into social media. But I'll probably have to pay somebody to do it because I just can't. I posted like a story the other morning, but accidentally, and I think it was my husband who was like, oh, cool, good story. And I was like, that posted? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, great. I'm glad it was what I meant because my phone was like here, and I was like in my pajamas still, so it could have easily have been like an up-nose shot. So I honestly don't even know how it happened. I was like, that's scary, actually. That happens really quick. I feel like you needed a confirm button, but apparently not. Just
Do you
go.
use it for like inspiration at all? Do you use Pinterest or anything?
Not really, no. But I talk for a living, babe. So, like, I hear things all the time. No.
Yes. Well, Apple News, right?
Apple News. Okay, so I do have a slight addiction to Apple News. And my curation is mostly Vogue and, like, is it Women's Wear Daily, Who, What, Where, In Style. So, you know, I can't say that I'm not Page 6. Page 6 is definitely Instagram, I think. I think Page 6 pulls Instagram, like the New York Post.
Huge kudos, by the way, to a creative person who
Yes.
could survive without visual inspiration
Yes.
on the internet. Like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
thank you
can't
guys.
even like put flowers in my bathroom without looking at Pinterest. Like, I literally
know.
am
I mean,
incapable.
I probably should, but I don't.
It's
And then when I
amazing.
do, I find that there's just so much. There's just so much beauty, and there's so much good. So I don't know. And you just got to make a
So cool.
choice.
Good for you. I think there's a trend in that itself, right? Is that
Totally.
like unplugging
Yeah.
is totally a trend.
I
That
feel
should
better.
be more on the up than it is.
Like, I genuinely, I think one of my questions was like, what does it do for your peace of mind? I'm like, my peace of mind, it's amazing. Like, I really do have a happy head.
It takes me like 6 meditation apps
Yeah,
in
no.
order to. in order to
I don't even, I just, and so for me, I know it's like such a big thing, and for a lot of people are like, oh my God, but I really don't even think about it. It's
Yeah.
just like, not
That's
even
Which is
a
great.
thought.
That's
So I might need
Good
to
for
do
you.
it eventually. But at the moment, no.
Yeah.
We're sticking without it.
Yeah. I mean, I think regardless of social media or not, from what you both have been saying, a huge part of trends is just the people that you interact with.
Yeah.
And so I think both of you stay relevant and follow the trends based off of the people that you're seeing. You know, you're seeing people come into the studio, they're telling you what you want, which is awesome that you have the relationship with your clients like that. And then you are constantly doing people's hair, talking to them and hearing,
Yeah.
you know, what's trendy.
Oh yeah, they walk up to me in the grocery store. They're like, "Can you look at my hip?"
No.
And I'm like holding bananas.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm like, no.
maybe like tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Is that
You're like,
a better
"Oh,
time?
yeah,
Talk
exactly.
about your hip mobility.
Yeah.
On that though, I think there's different types of trends, right? What you're talking about are behavioral trends, which what we've learned through digital media is that they're mostly driven by communities. So you've built a community of people who surround your stylist, probably, right? I've built a community that came from Instagram, frankly. I don't think our business would be where it is today if we weren't literally sharing videos of us painting the walls on Instagram when we took over the lease. So there's behavioral trends of building community, and then there's, you know, like style trends, technology trends, like industry trends that inform how things look and feel, and they're all intertwined. But I do think what we've seen in the age of digital media rising and social media are these communities have shown up. And one of my companies that I built, like, I don't know, like 15, I don't know, a long time ago, we kind of pioneered what influencer marketing looks like today. And with influencers, what was really interesting is that they built communities. That's why they became who they became, right? And in smaller areas or in local towns, like you can think about influence and where it comes from, right? There's this like high level influence of you follow Cristiano Ronaldo and you're a soccer fan. And then there's a level of influence that's like Smitten Kitchen, people who love to make sourdough. That's a community, her community, right? And then you've got Salt and Grove, which are people who live or visit Stowe, Vermont, right? So communities come in all different shapes and sizes, and they and that in itself is a trend that communities, more than ever, because we're all on our phones and feeling shitty about it, frankly, we want to gather with humans and talk to humans and understand one another. And I was just talking to Sarah about how like people just crave human connection to like talk about their problems, to talk about what inspires them. And you know, social gives us a way to do that that's accessible. But that when you create in-person community, it's so extra valuable to people today that's probably the biggest trend of the last 20 years is just in-person community again, right? Because it kind of disappeared for a while. So that's probably the most rewarding one too.
I think that's also it as well. Like I really do, because I do have a handful of clients still, but I don't cut much hair myself day to day, but I'm in the salon and
It's going to be a problem for our business lessons.
I make, well, we're gonna hold it. But we're gonna start there, honey. We're gonna keep
We'll
going.
figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But I talk for a living, and I say that, and I always say that, but it's kind of honest. And it was one of the big things I wanted with creating a salon is I really did want to introduce myself to every single client that came in there. I wanted them to feel comfortable talking to me just as much as their stylist, and I've learned so much. I mean, the value in connecting with humans is truly priceless, like truly, especially if you listen. And so I think I don't need social media because I already talk to like 20 to 50 people a day. And
could
that's
devalue
that's
your
like
brand,
maxed
honestly.
out
Yeah.
for me. And I couldn't go on, and like this is like my husband, I come home half the nights and I'm like, I know you probably didn't talk to too many people today, but I don't have anything to say to you. And I'm sorry, babe, but he's wonderful. He understands that. But for real, I feel very fortunate to be able to connect with humans, and I really do love that. And that's probably, I'm honestly, this is another, be honest, no lies here. I actually am not that passionate about hair, and I kind of fell into being a hairstylist by a weird default. But I really am passionate about people, and I happen to be good at hair, so it has worked out really well for me. But I think that was a big reason why I really wanted my own space, was because I cared more about the people that came into it and the environment that they found themselves in than really like the haircut I did. I'd have a client be like, that last haircut was perfect. Can you do it again? I was like, great. I hope you'd enjoyed it for the 4 weeks, because you might get something similar, or it might have been the best haircut you had ever. But I'll try. I will try my hardest. And I think that's the other piece of the puzzle, is like just showing up every day and like
Yeah.
really showing up every day and giving it your best. And some days it's actually not going to work out, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Show up the next day.
right.
Do the same thing again.
And again.
And again. You might have to moonlight as a plumber on that day, or maybe IT, or maybe hopefully not legal, but small. You probably have people for that. Do you have like HR?
My husband,
Oh.
who's the worst at it.
All the
He's
truth
like
is
the
coming
least
out.
It's a good
HR
idea.
safe person at the company, and he runs it, which is, yeah. So yeah,
That's hilarious.
yeah. And he's an awful plumber.
I feel like we can do, a little research. It's amazing what we can figure out.
Yeah, it is true though. We do have to do like a little
Like
bit of everything.
Something goes wrong with the computer, Jenny? I'm like, oh, okay, let me restart it. Let me see, because I don't know tech at all. That normally does work. It's like the best advice I got from an IT person.
Love it. So I wanted to ask you, Jenna, you work in wellness, and the word wellness in itself is very
Trendy.
trendy. But how do you promote like wellness without having the identity of like chasing the next fix that will help women or people?
So here's the thing about women. We've really screwed ourselves. Like in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, I think about my great-grandmother, you know, usually I put it farther away because I'm so loud that my microphone in the studio stops working because my voice just has like, so microphones don't like me. But yes. I think women, we've kind of screwed ourselves by starting to work because we still have to do everything else. Yeah, I mean, I still do dishes and cook and clean the house and drive my kid to and from school and sign up for all of his after-school activities and rake leaves and get the cars fixed and listen to my whole team's problems, talk to my mother, Karen from Quilt Group, blah, blah, you know, like it's never ending. And what we've done is, you know, we've shown our daughters and women around us that we are equals and we're smart and we can do this arguably just as good, if not better, than any man could. But we still carry the load of everything else domestically that we've been societally designed to do. And most of it is because of our emotional intelligence and science and just kind of how we are automatically engaged in making sure everyone's okay. That's like how we are designed up here. And so when it comes to wellness, I think people have started to figure out that that we're not okay. And we're exhausted. We are exhausted. I mean, working, taking care of kids, my husband's more work than my son. Like, I'm just going to say it. He's not here.
This is distributed on public access.
He will not, unless it's cycling or snowboarding, he's not going to watch it.
Great.
And it's like I live with two of them. It's never ending. And so when it comes to wellness, it's the way that I see it, it's not wellness. It's a moment to ourselves. It's an hour. Like we just had a training with the whole staff the other day, and it was all about making sure that the second anyone walks through those doors, exhale moment. You can just breathe again. And the first thing we say in classes or in services or anything is, anything that you came in with today, put it in your cubby, put it in your locker. We'll revisit it when when it's time to go. We're happy to talk about it with you. But preferably if you could just take it to your car, that would be good.
Should leave it outside, please.
I say that, right? And so I think as far as wellness, there's a reason why wellness is a trend right now. It's because women finally figured out that we deserve better and that we need a moment to ourselves. We deserve care. We deserve clarity. We deserve to feel good. And I think the past like 30 years have been women just grinding and grinding and grinding, especially the stay-at-home moms. I just want to say major kudos to all of the stay-at-home moms. Like, I can't do it, and I only have one. It's like, it is so eye-opening to spend 3 days alone with a child. I'm one of 7. I often call my mother and I say, I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
How and why? But really, like, that's where this all comes from. Because we deserve a moment for ourselves, whether it's in nutrition, whether it's in moving our bodies, whether it's literally laying down on the floor and nobody's talking to you. That's probably our most popular treatment.
Stop. Are you serious?
We do a sound bath on Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Wait,
People
what is it
walk
called?
in like with hoods up.
You just
It's a
lie
sound
down,
bath.
sound bath.
You just lie down on the floor and nobody talks to you, and then you put your hood up when you leave and you walk out. And we play some like crystal bowls and stuff, but frankly, the girl who plays the crystal bowls is moving, and I think I'm gonna keep it on the schedule. Like, I think you could just come in and lay down. I'll play like an Apple meditation or something, like the voice of Harry Styles singing, speaking you to sleep.
Seriously.
And so that's really where the wellness trend comes from. And so the news is it's not a trend, it's an awakening. And I think it's finally time that women take a moment to care for themselves in whatever way that is. And we say if it's retail therapy that you need in this moment, we got you. If it's hyaluronic acid and you need to understand sun protection better, we got you. If it's literally laying down in the breathing room or lounge, I will literally tie a red light mask to their face, shove them back, and say, you stay. I do that every week.
Wow.
Or it's coming to a class and moving your body and turning your mind off and letting someone just tell you what to do. Can I go for a run and work out in my garage? Yes. Do I want to? No, because why? I have to figure out what to do. So we're just trying to give everyone the opportunity to come in, turn their brain off, and get taken care of a little bit. So for wellness, I think, yeah, you can get stuck in there's all kinds of weird schemes and stuff going on, but this is Vermont, so, we do things right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a question I have for both of you before I open up the floor, so think of questions. If you had your company in any other town that you're in or state, do you think it would be the same? Or do you think being in Stowe or being in Burlington is why your business is successful? You're laughing.
I literally left Chrissy a voice memo the other day saying, if I open this business anywhere other than Stowe, none of this would be a problem.
Okay, would love to hear your thoughts.
I did. Stowe's just really small. And so when you think about problem, solution, opportunity, AKA market size, if I was in Greenwich, Connecticut, probably wouldn't enjoy my days as much, but I would probably have 12 times the amount of people walking through the door every day. So it is really hard to run a business in a transient market like Stowe. We invest so heavily in keeping our locals happy because we need them in order to survive. But we have 2 very different groups of people that we're catering to. We have the locals who are waiting tables and working at the lodge and who are, doing normal jobs that we all do. And then we have the transient community who come in their Land Rovers and their Tesla thingies that look like robot cars.
Yeah.
And, all the really fancy stuff. And they come in and they're like, I'm here for my facial. And it's just a totally different audience. So we welcome everybody with open arms and a warm smile. But I'm from New York City, so I'm able to kind of navigate all of that. I chose to live here. But for my staff, that's really hard sometimes. And so both from just like a market size perspective and also in like an everyday dealings perspective, it's really challenging. I do love Stowe, and I think it's an incredible place. It's an incredible town. The local community is awesome. For it to start snowing and everyone to be like, hell yeah, like where I grew up, everyone's like, get inside, where's the toilet paper? Do we have enough water? So it's so electric and cool and lit up and people are active. And, we have people coming to our studio who are like 85 former Olympians that are just like crushing a Pilates class, like level 3, like that was easy. What are we doing tomorrow? So it's cool. But from a market size perspective, we probably have to work 10 times as hard as they do in other markets.
Yeah, wow.
Because the cost is still high to be there.
Yeah.
I can
Right.
see that for you.
What about you, Jenny? Burlington. downtown Burlington.
It's a great market, and honestly, if there's any other market that I think about often, it's Stowe. So I was just going to ask you, what's the hair market like? But is there hair there? Like,
No,
is there?
you would do great. in
So
Stowe.
that's like there's
would do
like
great.
the spas.
I have the perfect place for
Do
you.
you? Is it in? Okay.
We'll talk at
because
the haircut.
We will. Because that is, I mean, Burlington is a great market for us. And downtown, we're one block off of Church Street. So but we actually, if I'm thinking about this right now, I can't say majority of our clientele is Burlington-based. Majority of them do actually come from South Burlington, Stowe, actually, Waterbury, Shelburne. But we do have a decent amount downtown, but not as much as you would think. But we opened in June of 2020, so it was so odd because all of the offices, they've still been empty. Like, we have this big office building across from our building, and I think maybe Vermont Law recently moved in there, but we spent 4 years with, I'd be like, there's one time a light turned on and I could see this weird mural, and I was like, oh my God, there's people in there. For how often and like when? I never see lights on in there, and they're not the only ones. So there's not the landscape and like the downtown work, that scene has shifted quite a bit, but there's a lot of housing coming to downtown, which is really great. And I'm not sure how.
What's happening?
I would say this is all going to start happening probably. All the snow.
About all the
Yeah.
snow.
I guess we're all staying here tonight.
It's like my parents. They're like, buckle down.
$99.
That's just my dad texting everyone to say, get inside, buy toilet paper, make sure you have water, turn the fire on.
That was so funny.
They literally, if my parents were here tonight, they would be like, yeah, we can't come to the panel. The weather's really bad.
Really bad.
Serious, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so this is a great.
I was like, that was perfect.
Yeah.
My brother can confirm that. Brian, are you here?
Do you have a
I think
brother
I
here?
see you.
Are we-
My brother was.
Somebody's in the
Oh
back
yeah, he
waving at
can
you.
confirm it.
So I want to open the floor for questions for our panelists. So if anyone has one, Mieko, always can rely on her. I can. I love it.
So I just wanted to ask, whereabouts in New York did you grow up? Because I grew up in Manhattan, Lower East Side, so knowing the
Lower
Manhattan-
East Side. You just
knowing
got
Manhattan
10 times
too,
cooler than me.
Yeah, like knowing how kind of New York, kind of the A to B, kind of fast paced, how is it adjusting your mentality to Vermont and like?
It's been a process, Mieko. It's been a process. So I grew up right outside of New York City in Westchester County. I was about, somebody else? I'm from Katona. Yeah. Oh my God. That's fun. And so I lived a quarter mile from a Metro North station and was just in and out of the city whenever we wanted to. My grandpa and my aunt had a place in Soho, so I spent a lot of time down there. And then we lived there for 20 years before we moved here. And the answer to your question is it was a very intense process. You know, we moved up here, it was pretty traumatic. My husband was the head of sales for a company that was responsible for supplying the city of New York with all of their disinfectant, paint chemicals, and PPE. So during COVID, he was setting up the Javits Center as a remote hospital and arranging for refrigerator trucks of, you know, it was very, very dark. I had a 9-month-old baby, and so we actually came up here because it wasn't safe for all of us to be together. And so I was alone up here with my son for about 6 months before my husband joined, which was a gift to have that time with him. That's why I shout out all the stay-at-home moms. It was a gift, but it was hard. But, you know, what we missed the most was convenience. I miss ramen. And all of the amazing food that we had access to. And really, more than anything, I just miss being able to walk anywhere, anytime, get anything. And I also really miss just the diversity of thought and people and bodies. There were these whack-a-moles that I would see on the train every day, and I loved them so much. Like, the crazier, the better, you know? And then here, while the people are amazing, everyone's really similar in that, you know, we all live here for the same reason, kind of. We have similar values, at least in Stowe, and then, you know, the areas where we've spent time. Luckily, we have a very diverse family, and my son gets to experience all different walks of life and different types of people from different places. But that's probably what I missed the most. It was a process, and it still is. And now when we go back, he's like such a nerd. He's like a mountain mouse. It's so embarrassing. He's like, Mom, look, a subway. And I'm like, shh. A taxi cab. I'm like, you're not cool.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
What are your biggest challenges attracting and retaining clients during like all 4 seasons? For both of you.
So I think from hair we're very lucky. And again, my stylists are amazing. And so for the most part, they often retain the clients that come in, which is really nice. And there's a consistency to it. You know, once a stylist finds, or once a person finds a stylist, they often, definitely men, you know, we'll see them every 4 to 6 weeks. And same with women though as well. It's probably an 8 to 10 week rotation. So we don't often have seasonal, although we literally did just have these past few weeks, but that was unprecedented. And I'm not sure if that was more of everything and maybe some of the unrest that's happening in our world right now, and people just, the way holiday schedules are falling, because that really can kind of weigh into haircut time. People might wait a week or 2 weeks because they want it closer to Christmas. That's like a real thing to this day, like the amount of grown men and women that are like, I'm going home, and if I don't have my haircut, my mom will say something, is like really sweet and endearing and kind of funny. So that is true. Everybody gets haircuts before holidays. But as a whole, I would say there is actually a consistency to the hair world once you settle into it with your stylist and as a client. Probably more so, like you got a lot. I mean, different
got a lot
classes,
going
different
on.
seasons, different, all the things.
Yeah, the seasons are wild. And
Yeah.
stuff. It's like you have like leaf people, believe it or not, October is the busiest time in Stowe.
Yeah.
Just like busloads of people from all over the world coming in with a lot of questions. But
It's true.
which is cool too, because you get to talk to people from all over the world. So while most of the locals are complaining about it, I'm like eating it up. I just loved it. But content and storytelling are our friends. We are extremely open. We like to share everything that we do on all of our sales channels, which are, you know, all of our social media channels, our website, our email. We really use everything that's available to us. And then also, I think, pricing strategy, being really hyper aware of the difference between the local population and the transient community. We worked with an awesome coach recently who specializes in helping studios grow. And one of the things that we were able to identify was how to retain the local population and get the transients to pay for it, basically. So lowered membership significantly. I think our membership is $100 less a month than any other studio in town. And then we raised the price of our drop-ins so that our revenue doesn't actually change. But nobody from Connecticut is going to care if a drop-in is $32 instead of $25. But people in the community are going to care if it's $149 a month instead of $199 a month. That's a pretty big difference. That's one thing. Another thing is really just listening to that community through all of that storytelling. I know personally one of the reasons why I acquired that business is because when I used to walk into Mirror Mirror, I would say, gosh, I just never think to do this for myself, or like it takes so much for me to build up wanting to spend it or being I wanted to spend it. Justifying the spend to my husband, or finding a way to hide it. Totally honest. But that, what we ended up creating after really listening to people and taking all of our personal experience, we created what we call the Self-Care Club. It's a spa membership, and it's a really reasonable monthly rate where you get one facial or massage a month. And again, it's called Self-Care Club because it's like, what do you pay to go out to dinner at Doc Pond's for a night, right? If you could put that towards a 3-hour period for yourself every month where you get to be totally taken care of and just like pampered to the maximum. Again, remember, like pushing them into the lounge chair, like relax. You know, that's kind of what it's all about. And so not everyone, you know, has signed up for that, but we did really well with it. Way better than I think we had more than double what we anticipated. We just sold them for 2 weeks. And now, we not only do we have recurring revenue, it was a 12-month commitment, by the way. We really asked them to invest in themselves, but they're coming every month. So we have those bodies showing up through the door, experiencing the brand, providing that input, being a part of the storytelling, and they really feel like they're a part of this community. And then the more of that goes online. I mean, the Instagram stuff is great because we've had the fortune to go viral a few times. And so people come from Puerto Rico just to visit us and, from all over just to experience it. Or we get maybe 3 or 4 bachelorettes a weekend. And so, really just putting our story out there, but really standing behind it. I don't make money off those self-care club memberships, but that's okay because I'm really living and breathing the mission and vision of the brand for those people.
I need to buy one of those.
I know.
I think I'm going to get that.
The self-care club reopens on January 1st of 2022.
Okay, great. I was like, oh, wait, they were only open for 2 weeks?
Yeah, wait, I'm
Okay.
like, wait, are you selling those again?
Yeah.
I'd like to buy one.
My question is something that I've noticed about trends because I spend a lot of time on Instagram and TikTok is that everybody's starting to look the same. Like they're literally getting the same base.
Correct.
I saw photos of like the one that's 25. It's crazy. But my question is, you're both business owners, so obviously you have to think about profit and you have to think about revenue, but you're also clearly women who care about alignment and energy. And I'm wondering how you promote the profitability of trends authentically without convincing someone they need to buy something they don't really need or purchase something that wouldn't look good on them or wouldn't feel good to them. Do you just try your best to be honest in those conversations, and how do you kind of dance that dance?
It's a great question.
It's a great question. So for me, yeah, just honest. I would definitely, we only sell hair product, so it's not, and we honestly really hardly sell any hair product. It's mainly I have a product problem. It's also something I think why I wanted to own a salon is because I could have access to all the products, but we have too many products and they don't sell. So I need to do a massive product sale. I'll let you guys know. I think we're going to run everything at 40% off just so I can get new products in. So no, I don't push any products on anybody unless it's something that I think they really could use or need, which that oftentimes comes with some sort of issue with the scalp that they might actually need more of a serum or something a little bit that would actually be beneficial. But for the most part, no. I would never try to force something on somebody that would not work. But I'm not really trendy, and then I think of wellness it is, I don't even know what's cool, so I don't know.
You
But
do. Your jacket is the best thing I've seen tonight. It's so cute.
It's actually a hoodie, which is the best. Going after.
Anyways.
But yeah, so I'm very fortunate there. And if something, I wouldn't even sell a client a shampoo if I didn't think it would work well with their hair texture. I'd be like, no, that's not this one, but not that one.
I think ultimately trust is earned, and selling with intention is very important. I just hosted a sales training the other day. I'm trying to think what I can pull from it to share with you that wouldn't be opening the kimono too wide. But realistically, what we talked about that evening for 3.5 hours was about turning customers into clients and how you do that. And the way that you do it is by building trust. And in our business, the way that you build trust is by making people feel a certain way. Because ultimately, that's what a brand is, right? When you use your Apple phone and see that Apple logo, you feel innovative. And when you wear your Nike shoes, you're like, I can do it, right? The brand makes you feel a certain way. And our brand, the goal is for you to feel that feel taken care of, feel that exhale moment when you walk through the door. And that needs to happen from start to finish. So as long as we're building trust with our clients and they don't feel like we're pushing them to buy something or overly salesy, people also don't love it when you tell them that you don't want to do a service on them, when you don't think it's a good idea, or when they shouldn't be taking that class yet. I have this one woman who I keep running into at soccer practice who had ACL surgery not even 2 weeks ago. She's like, I'm coming back. My PT's going to call you. I'm like, can you not? How about wait until they clear you and then come back? We have to turn people away from things sometimes to benefit them. And ultimately, it builds trust. And really, if you're being overly pushy when people are walking through the door, or every time you come, if you're like, oh, that's Salting Grove, it's like you can't get a facial without them making you buy something, then you're not going to come back. You're not going to get a facial there again. But if you're getting a facial and when you walked in and you told your esthetician, my skin is so dry, I don't know what to do about it, and I feel really bad about it. Like I can feel it when I wake up in the morning, and while they're giving you your facial, they're teaching you about the benefits of a hyaluronic acid with a low molecular content. And then when they walk you out the door, they're like, these are 2 hyaluronic acids. This one's from Ursa Major. It's under $40. This one's from SkinCeuticals. It's $129. It's up to you which one you want to go with. If it were up to me, I would choose this one, but either of them are going to be great for you. Then you're going to have an experience that you can walk away feeling like, okay, I did kind of open myself up to her and say, I wanted something like this. And she gave me options, as long as you're really transparent about it. And we're honestly trying to help people. We're actually probably to a fault, I guess I'll just share this. I said to my estheticians at this training the other day, I said, what percentage of our sales, retail sales to stores, do you think represents skincare at the Grove? What do you think it is, Denise? 2.3%. 2.3%. My goal is to get that to 10, and I think that's doable in a way that doesn't hurt anybody. I think when we came in, we're trying to build a clientele, and in that we're building relationships, and that's the primary goal right now. Once we understand their skin, we've seen them a few times, then we can start to really build them out a routine once we see how their skin's reacting to different treatments and things like that. So I think it's really selling with intention and knowing this is a business, we have to pay the bills, but at the end of the day, you don't pay bills without clients showing up. So you have to find that balance. I love that blue on you, by the way.
This question's for you. Of the 3 categories, wellness, bar, spa, and retail, what do you think has the biggest opportunity and the most revenue and gross margin?
My husband. It's a great question. I think it depends on. We're actually, we're modeling that out right now because my goal was to stabilize in this fall-winter period, and nobody around me seems to be into the whole let's stabilize thing. They're all like, all right, where do we go from here? Where I just want to shower. I just want a second. But the answer is, number 1 is likely digital studio, because we serve 50% transient community. A lot of them may want to take our classes with them. We also have a very high-functioning online retail platform. So when we opened the first store, we used Shopify, and we built out a really beautiful retail website, way beyond what I ever planned to do, mostly for inventory tracking purposes. It wasn't even really to sell online. And then we started finding, when we have the Varley beanie in red that's sold out everywhere else, we get 12 orders from all over the country of the Varley beanie in red. So we're like, oh, this is really interesting. And when we moved and opened our second store, we weren't able to we just didn't have the bandwidth to optimize that. So that's something that we're working on right now. But I would say our largest opportunity is in the private groups. We have not lifted a finger, and we host about 3 a week. Bachelorettes, we have someone's 80th birthday party coming. They do a class, green juice or bone broth. And then we do spa treatments, and then they lay and hang out in the lounge, and then we do a private lunch and cocktails. So we do those constantly, and again, we haven't even really tried. We've actually put it on our website with an inquiry form just to manage the inquiries because there were too many of them, which is awesome problem to have. So I think that's actually a huge opportunity for us. I'm trying to convince my brother and his fiance to get married at the spa. Wouldn't that be cool?
Wedding
They're going
venue?
to kill me for saying that. Yeah, I think it would be so cool, like a micro
beautiful
wedding.
space.
Under the moss would be so cool.
Some really good space.
So I think there's, primarily digital studio. And it's really taking the digital activation of everything we're doing IRL further, right? So while the group bookings are in person, but there's a lot we could do online with SEO and running ads and getting involved in wedding platforms and things like that. One of our estheticians just launched our bridal services product, which is super cool. It's one of those things where I'm like, surprise me. I don't care about it yet. Hopefully everybody wows me and it totally takes off. But that's basically like a big bridal package where you get your makeup and facials and massages and everything leading up to your wedding, which is super cool. But more of a like, it'll be cool if it happens and it works. But I would personally love to do digital classes because I love teaching. And I would just love to be alone in the studio filming classes a couple times a week. That would be really nice for me personally. So, and also like once those classes are online, then you can just start, collecting those subscriptions and also feel good about them because you're offering people a product that's convenient and valuable at a reasonable rate.
One more question.
How did you name your business? Hi. How did you name your businesses?
You go first.
I felt code. I liked code, and I didn't want to be a hair salon. I felt there's a code for everything. I mean, when you go on our website, it'll say you got to know the code, which to me really is just being kind, treating other people how you want to be treated. But people thought there was much more to that, and like there was some sort of fancy code, or it was like going to be a secret salon. But no, it was just be nice. Be nice, and you can come in my door. But I will say I wanted, and then Style Club because I didn't want to be a hair salon, and I would be lying if I didn't say maybe I do dream of someday being able to shut it down to a place where it's like you actually do need to know the code to get into the club. But also, every different haircut's a code. It can be used in many different ways. Human personalities. I mean, there's a code for everything. So I just felt like it went. And someday I might have a code to get into the club. But right now we don't. Right now it's just be kind. Be kind and treat people. 342. You need to know. Just treat others kindly and have a good attitude. And that's really the code. And I don't often say Style Club. I call it Code, but most people call it Code Style Club, which I get. It's the full name.
So good.
So pretty quick and easy.
Yeah.
Didn't really.
Are there any lawyers here?
Why?
Earmuffs.
Oh, for you.
Yeah.
I did double look for me because there is a big code salon in San Francisco, and it is Code Salon, but San Francisco.
Watch
So
out for them because
They could come at me.
we were originally called SALT, which stands for Strengthen, Align, Lengthen, Tone, which was really because I wanted a bar studio, like just like a real bar studio. And SALT Yoga in Tulsa, Oklahoma DM'd me one day with a cease and desist after we were about 6 months old. And that sucked because we had just gotten all of our signage and promo materials and swag, and people loved the name, and it worked really well. But it was kind of a blessing in disguise because the spot opportunity came to us, I think, the same week that happened. And so while I was thinking of what to do with our name, which in all fairness, our lawyer, I don't think Kat's here, but Kat O'Neill is an awesome, you guys all know her, I'm sure. Kat is an excellent small business lawyer, amazing for female business founders. And she, when I named it, she was like, I don't know about this name. It's not very ownable. We can't register the trademark. I'm like, Kat, calm down. We're just in the mountains of Vermont. Relax. And she was right. And so I got to call her that day, and she got to say, I told you so. But what had happened is, like I said, I really just wanted a studio. And what came of it very, very fast was this epic community that I had no idea even existed in Stowe. And the community just felt so strong, like it just was like holding SALT up. And most of us who were a part of it in the beginning still call it SALT. But we added and Grove because the Grove really represents the community that we've built and where we live. There is a bit of a grove in our backyard of our spa. We also installed these gorgeous installations of Spanish moss kind of coming down and throughout the spa. And so it really feels like you're just like in a warm hug of people and nature and stillness. And so Salt and Grove actually did work out really well, and we did register the trademark for that. But it was the worst timing, kind of. It was like the best and the worst timing. But we will soon install our original Strengthen, Align, Lengthen, Tone signage in the studio, just so that we can all remember where it started. because Tulsa can't come for us there.
Yes.
No, they can't.
No.
When you go digital, set them the link so they can take the class.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Ooh, that's
you're
good.
sassy. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Well, thank you both so much for being on this panel.
Thank
and
you. Thank you all for coming,
I
too.
want
Yes.
a podcast
Thank
with you
you.
two. Yes, we get a round of applause. So, if you all scan the programs around the room, you'll get their LinkedIns and their bios. Also, just want to plug one more time, Hotel Vermont is generous to give a very good snow discount. So if you do want to save yourself the drive, please stay over. The food here is amazing. The beverages are amazing. The breakfast is to die for. So, yeah. But thank you all so much for coming. Get home safe if you do drive home. Thank you.
Thank you.